Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. A man was arrested for allegedly firing a gun while driving a tractor in Joshua Tree. On Sunday at 9:15 p.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a man discharging a firearm while operating a tractor in the 7100 block of White Feather Road. Deputies arrived and contacted Brian Jernigan, 60, who they say was sitting on the tractor. Deputies detained Jernigan and recovered a firearm at the scene. Brian Jernigan was arrested for suspicion of negligent discharge of a firearm and being a felon in possession of a firearm, and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $80,000 bail. The Yucca Valley Town Council met for over 4 hours on Tuesday. Joining us with a recap is online news editor Robert Hayden.
First up, the town heard a presentation from the California Intergovernmental Risk Authority on how a recent merger has affected insurance rates for the town. And then project manager Daniel Pinkhauser from Dahlin gave an update on the Yucca Valley Aquatic Recreation Center. This is the 5th quarterly update on the project, and in short, it's on schedule with the primary steel skeleton of the structure nearly complete. Overall, the project sits at 62% completion and remains on target to be ready by mid-July of 2026. Then Yucca Valley Film Festival director Matt Burrow gave an update on the 3-day festival that begins on November 7th. They'll be presenting over 56 movies and scripts, 15 of which are from local filmmakers or were filmed here in the Morongo Basin. For more on that, tune into the Up Close show this Friday with Gary Daniel, where he'll be joined by the director. Alex Keisha then introduced 3 town employees to present the Public Works Annual Report. Street Supervisor Dave Johnson began with a hefty overview of the maintenance that the division is responsible for in town. They maintain over 150 miles of paved roads, 2.5 miles of dirt roads, and all the signage and pavement markings. Johnson noted that since July, Yucca Valley has only received 2.8 inches of rain, and only 2 of those rain events required storm cleanup. Johnson also said that potholes are a constant part of the job, with the team laying down over 80,000 pounds of asphalt patches during the year. Supervisor Joe Bowers from the Parks Division went over the 19 acres of parks in Yucca Valley and the irrigation repairs, landscaping, and maintenance required to keep it all up. That includes not only spots like Paradise Park and the turf at Brem Park, but all the landscaping and trees at places like the public library, the animal shelter, and other municipal meeting places. They also respond to vandalism like graffiti, which Bowers called a costly and time-consuming process. He noted significant cost savings from the installation of LED lighting across the town. The more efficient lighting costs around $8,000 to install and has already paid for itself in electricity savings. James McCubbin from Facilities Maintenance wrapped things up with an update on the 23 town structures his team is responsible for. Those facilities contain over 180,000 square feet of carpet, 6,000 square feet of glass, over 50 toilets, 254 doors, 700 light fixtures, and over 5,000 setups for activities at the community center. At the conclusion of the report, town staff and council members emphasized the importance of community reporting in keeping public works running smoothly, and the council expressed their appreciation for all the work that the divisions do. Still left on the agenda, a lengthy discussion on the Yucca Valley welcome sign design and location, as well as over an hour spent on discussing 2 proposals for the farmers market at the new Founders Plaza. We'll have more on that, along with an update on the Animal Shelter Review Committee and your public comments in the second part of this recap tomorrow on air and online at Z107.7FM.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors met last night. Reporter Gabriel Hart joins us with a recap.
After receiving a low number of signups this year, the board approved to reduce the rates of their voluntary revenue program, which was implemented last spring to collect additional revenue from residents to help the town's budget and bolster the general fund. The rates moving forward will be a sliding scale of $50, $75 to $100 annually, and supporters of the VPR can request for the CSD to waive any balance of post-insurance payments received for no-fault services that occur at home or within the district. Conversely, after a request from the CSD office staff, the board approved to obtain a debt collection agency to assist with recovering outstanding balances owed to the district, a majority of these being emergency fire and medical calls from visitors. Addressing concern on identifying staff during community events and interactions on district property when working, the board explored dress code options. suggesting personalized polo dress shirts for office staff and t-shirts for park staff. Finance Director Johnny Tolbert voiced a counter-argument, stating that perception among fire staff and public might be compromised since the fire department can barely afford uniforms. To weigh the options, General Manager Brittany Chavez took initiative to price out affordable vendors until next meeting where the business would be continued. Finally, the board approved and filed the Morongo Valley Recreation Facilities Summary for 2025, an informational document outlining the district's current recreation facilities, maintenance practices, and community partnerships for future planning, funding, and reporting purposes. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Gabriel Hart.
Due to the ongoing federal government shutdown, the County of San Bernardino announced that CalFresh benefits may not be available in November. Funding is currently secured through October. The county says that CalWorks and Medi-Cal benefits are not expected to be impacted. However, if the federal shutdown continues, delays may occur. San Bernardino County's Transitional Assistance Department is actively preparing to assist residents and keep the community informed throughout this uncertain period. If benefits will not be available, affected participants will receive a formal notification letter this month. You can check for official updates at the San Bernardino County TAD website at wp.sbcounty.gov/TAD. Or you can contact the local TAD office with any questions or concerns about benefits or eligibility. The office in 29 Palms is located at 73629 Sun Valley Drive. The office in Yucca Valley is located at 56357 Pima Trail. The 29 Palms Kiwanis and Rotary Clubs are joining forces to address hunger. As part of their Global Service Week initiative to strengthen communities and improve lives in 29 Palms, the clubs will hold a food drive at Stater Brothers in 29 Palms tomorrow. They will be collecting canned goods and non-perishables that will be donated to Feed 29 Community Food Bank. Bring your donations to the Stater Brothers in 29 Palms, located on 29 Palms Highway at the corner of Ancilia Avenue between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Community Representative Veronica Koltunaik and firefighter Justin Marino spoke about a 2-hour workshop in Wilderness First Aid Basics that's being held at the Copper Mountain Mesa Community Center tomorrow. Annalise Kuiper spoke with both of them and joins us with this story.
Justin Marino will teach simple skills in this free condensed workshop. Here, Veronica Koltuniak, Copper Mountain Mesa Community Association board member, fills us in on the importance of having life-saving knowledge in remote communities.
As you know, out here in the high desert, connection really matters. And for 40 years, the Copper Mountain Mesa Community Center has been creating a safe, friendly place for neighbors to come together and connect. So with that in mind, the Crisis Coalition came about realizing that we need to be ready to take care of each other in the event of a disaster. That's why we started the Crisis Coalition. It's a monthly program that helps neighbors connect, learn new skills, and share resources to prepare for disasters, whether that's earthquakes, flash floods, or any other emergency. Because being this remote, we can't always count on FEMA or the Red Cross to get here quickly, so it's up to us to be ready.
Justin Marino, firefighter and EMT, talks about the Wilderness First Aid Basics workshop he will be giving this Friday, October 24th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
We teach the American Red Cross First Aid, CPR, and AED. However, their volunteers were out in the field, and so we saw a need to create a sort of a mini wilderness first aid program. So we're going to be taking that entire sort of training and doing an entire hybrid of 2 hours. So we're going to be teaching hands-on CPR, which anyone can do. You don't need a certification for that. And then we're going to be teaching what wilderness first aid is. And folks might be curious, what is the wilderness? Lots of times people think of the forested area. They think of Big Bear as the wilderness. You know, they think of lakes and green trees, but we are in the wilderness here. In terms of medicine, wilderness first aid is going to be your response time and how you approach a situation. So if we're looking at a response time from definitive care, meaning getting to a hospital, an ambulance, we're looking at 1 hour to 2 days. So piggybacking off what Ronnie was saying, if you're not going to have someone coming out to take care of you, you need to take care of yourself. So I'm hoping to impart that information onto the guests.
Gather at the Copper Mountain Mesa Community Center, 65336 Winters Road in North Joshua Tree, for this free life-saving workshop. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
The Flamingo Heights Community Center is hosting its first Harvest Festival this Saturday, featuring free carnival games, a maker's market, community resource tables, a pumpkin carving contest, and the inaugural Great Flamingo Bake-Off. Community baking skills will be shown off at this community-judged bake-off. Whether cake, cookies, cobblers, or cheesecake, or a completely original creation, a star baker will be chosen by the baker's peers. These peer judges can nosh on baked goods and vote for their favorites for a $5 donation to the center. Bakers are challenged with creative categories like Best Use of Seasonal Flavors and Best Desert Dessert, but only one will go home with the coveted Great Flamingo Bake-Off trophy, which will be awarded to the crowd favorite. You can sign up in advance at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com, or just show up with your goodies at the festival. All participants should plan to drop their treats off at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And finally, the 7th annual Yucca Valley Film Festival will fill the silver screens at the Yucca Valley Community Center this November 7th, 8th, and 9th. The local festival is growing by leaps and bounds with attendance and kudos from industry professionals. On tomorrow's Up Close show, Film Festival director Matt Buwal will be joined by documentarian Robbie Robb, who will talk about his intimate look at the life of Joshua Tree icon Bobby First, and Nicole Smith will give insight on her new film Motherhood. Host Gary Daigneault will list the many features and benefits of the local festival, all about the Yucca Valley Film Festival tomorrow at 10 a.m. here on Z107.7. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.